You're live. Hey, John Lee here. So looks like my video quality is not real great, so I have to apologize about that. Maybe I'll have to get a better webcam. This is a brand new computer though, so I'm wondering if it's just kind of streaming in crappy quality. But this will be your stimulus check update for April 17th. It's Saturday. It's almost 5 p.m., but we'll throw some news in there. Probably see what's going on locally and with the stimulus and with some local news. So the first article that we got is about 20 hours old, and it says the IRS is not done sending stimulus checks yet. So I know they've been sending them out week after week. Be sure and drop a comment if you already got your stimulus, if it was direct deposit, or if anyone actually received an Emerald card. I'm not sure that anybody actually got one of those. I ended up getting partial stimulus with direct deposit, and then I also ended up getting a paper check on April 7th, or maybe it was the 17th. No, heck, I don't remember now, but it was several days ago. But then I couldn't cash it. They had post dated it. So I'm curious if anybody else had gotten any post dated stimulus checks. So those are what they were calling the plus up payments. Oh, let me see if I can see if that's a little less invasive. See my trusty guitar. I like to pluck around on that. So what was the plus up payments? Those were like remainder credits, kind of like remainder payments that had your 2020 tax return not been processed by the time that the stimulus went out in March, that it was signed into law. Then they would have used your 2019 return, which would have not been accurate for your dependents and for some of your other tax credits. So any of those remainders, I believe they still haven't done my AGI correctly with the unemployment tax exemption credit. I still sent the state some money. So, but they're not done sending out checks. So if you've already gotten it, let me know. I'm interested to know how you actually received it, if they got your banking information correct or not. The stimulus check delivery isn't over yet, though, it says. In addition, the $1,400 stimulus payments are still arriving in the mail. So it is highly likely that you could still end up seeing a paper check, even if you had already received your previous stimulus through direct deposit or through a card. So I do have to say that, you got to give the IRS a little bit of props. They were underfunded and they have a lot of responsibility, and they are coming through better late than never. So, Commissioner Rettig, they seem a little standoffish at times, but I'm sure that's, part of just comes with the territory. But a lot of people were getting, pretty anxious. And so the end of the day, they're getting through it. That you could still see some checks in the mail. They're actively sending out payments on a weekly basis. Tax season's underway, so you can check it with the Where's My Refund tool. Everybody knows what tools to use. So the plus up payments could be going to veterans, SSDI, and SSI recipients. They said you were supposed to get a letter in the mail giving you some kind of breakdown. And I'm going to try to pull my screen over to the side so I can get my news. Except I'm not really sure how to do that. So I don't know if I should do that. Well, I'm really good at screwing things up. I can tell you that when I'm trying to do something. But yeah, so I think I got my plus up payment. It was post dated. So I'm curious if anybody else had theirs post dated. If you didn't notice, I just posted a gardening video. So if you guys like stuff like that, be sure and watch that, or, comment. Hopefully through all this quarantining, maybe someday we'll get back to, some type of normalcy. Let me know what you did, during quarantine. If you made up fun games or did some gardening or crafting or wrote a song or just did nothing and hibernated, or you still went exploring anyways and didn't give a shit what anybody said. So let's see. The child tax credit will be coming up. That was kind of a big deal for a lot of people. They were originally talking about not knowing when they were going to open up a portal for that, which I think it tentatively is set up for monthly payments. They may end up going with periodic payments, but it should be going out monthly to the best of my knowledge, starting in July 1st. That's the plan. We'll see if they get around to it. If anybody is still waiting on your 2019 returns, be sure and let me know. Comment on that. I'm still waiting on my 2019 return. I haven't heard back from anybody. Now that I'm hoping to still see what's going on with the tax exemption credit. But if you have kids, you may be interested in a related program, which is the monthly child tax credit. And here's how much you will get. And so the other thing I was talking about is if they had not processed your 2020 return, you could have had a baby, which I did in 2020. And a lot of those types of updates would not have been taken into effect. So how much money you'll get, including your 2021 baby. Millions of people could get money off the health insurance. Let's see, the plus up payments. But those should be, I think, like $300 a month. I think it's $3,600 a month for kids 0 to 6, and then I think it's $3,000 per kid. But they're going to split it up into like half payments, monthly payments. Split half of it up into either periodic every 3 months, or I'm pretty sure that they're saying that it's going to be monthly now. But you would get half of that now throughout the remainder of 2021, and then you could claim that the remainder of the other half of that credit on your 2021 taxes. So let's just see. That's kind of they've been talking about the fourth stimulus. A lot of people have been talking about a fourth stimulus check. If you know something about that, drop it in the comments. It's my understanding that they would have to use the Democrats would have to use reconciliation process to get a specific stimulus check bill passed, but that they're probably going to try to save that. And President Biden right now is more focused on his infrastructure plan. Excuse me, but you will see possibly a lot of. We're still waiting to see. I know he introduced it not too long ago, but I didn't really see anything about actually sending money to direct payments. But I'll keep you updated on that. If you know something, put it in the comments for me. What else was there? The plus up payments. What we know about the fourth stimulus check. The IRS has been something else. So if you've had to call them or have any correspondence with them, man, I feel bad for you, because I did, and it was a mess. Let's see. Yeah, and they're not really happy about spending more money. The Republicans I think they introduced their own infrastructure bill. So I think President Biden's infrastructure bill was like $3 trillion, and the Republicans introduced their own infrastructure bill that was like $680 billion. It was much, less. So the Republicans are a little more conservative, obviously, fiscally than the Democrats, but they're pushing more for like a social, what's the term? Social infrastructures, fixing the schools and the poverty, and really trying to, bring, the lowest income families out of poverty. So through some of that social infrastructure, which some people are saying that's not even a real thing, but I kind of really feel like it is, now that, we really do need internet to do almost anything. Like there's hardly any schools or grade schools that are even have I think we got something home from the school not too long ago saying the kids were going to be full of all textbooks were going to be on the iPad or something like that. So um, to me, it's debatable on stocks with Apple. I bought a share, but I just don't know about Apple. You can drop your comments in the comments what you think about Apple. Let me know if my audio is working, because I see at least one person on here. Not sure who else is seeing this, but if you can, I'm not sure if the comments will go. There's a live chat, but if you can drop a comment in that, I can actually see that. So, and they are paying interest on they are paying interest on your 2019 returns, your minute returns that took forever. It's my understanding that they are paying interest on that. I imagine that that would be considered some type of income, and that they would tax you on that too. So the amount of taxes is just unbelievable. Let's see. So there's like 74 lawmakers who are pushing for a fourth stimulus, but they, like I said, they're trying to, get more, done by actually pulling people out of poverty, and so that is kind of, one way. But from what I understand, every time the Democrats put together a bill that says it's infrastructure, it's a stimulus or whatever, uh, it's like the Republicans get ticked off and we just end up fighting. So has anybody heard anything about Trump? Because I feel like I've heard Trump is somewhere been in the headlines. We'll have another election coming up before too long. And so, but every time the Democrats put together a bill that's supposed to be for the people, it ends up being like 6% or 7% actually, doing what they said they're going to do, and then helping the people. And then it's all this other, big business collecting all the profit and the benefits off of some of these programs. It's really crazy. But a lot of the representatives are saying, this third stimulus check just wasn't enough. After, it took so long, months for people to actually get the stimulus. Actually, today is 1 month after the bill was signed into law, but it took so long, and then there was such a mess with the first and second stimulus. You can see that we definitely have some work to be done to make that roll out faster. But when the IRS finally got rolling, it seemed like, maybe 2 or 3 weeks in, and they really got on the ball and started getting stuff delivered and dotting their I's and crossing their T's. So let me know what you think about that whole process and situation. Drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. Welcome to my channel. I like to talk about stimulus checks, news, gardening. I don't care what it is. We like to talk about it. If it has to do with anything that's relevant to 2021 or policy or making the world a better place, or examining and taking a look at how we can make the world a better place by working together and really becoming united, because the division in this country is really expanding. And so people are getting further and further apart. We're not really uniting. And so that's why you got to be a light when the whole world is dark. So there's a little message of wisdom for you. One more check's not enough. Recurring direct payments. So they have been talking about sending out a $2,000 month, a $2,000 check. They've talked about recurring checks, monthly checks, 2,000 initial checks, and then $1,000 monthly checks until this pandemic is over. A lot of cases have been going up. A lot of the lockdowns are coming back. There's all these different strains. I really don't know what to believe. Whatever you think, you should drop it in the comments below. Let's see, $1,400 per person. Let's see. Yeah, so we already knew all that. So that's basically it on the fourth stimulus. We don't really know yet. Might see it come out in some of the infrastructure, but let me see. I might just pop over here and then do something real quick. I just This computer's a dummy. Oh, wait, there we go. This might work better than I thought. So let's check the top stories. Let's see. I really enjoy checking the top stories. I like to stay up to date on what's going on, and I figured, man, screw the mainstream media. Like, I'm really so tired of, like, I'll get, at least on here, I'll get the news from like multiple sources. I don't always feed into just one group. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, let's see. Been a lot of riots and protests. But first, I want to start with some local news. I'm from the Kansas City area. 2 injured in Westport. Oh, that don't sound good. 2 injured in Westport shooting. Businesses hit by gunfire. Ooh, that ain't good. Kansas City, Missouri police are investigating after 2 people were shot in a busy Westport area Saturday afternoon. That was today. When was this article? This is 1 hour ago. So this is very current. Officers say the shooting happened around 12:17 p.m. Saturday in the area of Central Street and Westport Road. Several nearby businesses were reportedly hit by gunfire. Police have not identified the 2 victims, and no suspect information has been released. The Westport District put out the following statement. The shooting around noon was near the Westport Post Office. According to police, the preliminary indication is the shooting is not random. Westport Entertainment District Security and Police confirmed this incident did not happen in the entertainment district. So you better look out if you're down there. That's why you see there's bad guys like this. That's why it's important that we don't, those are the people that we need to be able to protect ourselves from, is crazy psychos out there like that, and why we need the Second Amendment and why we need the right to bear arms. Which I'm not really telling you anything that you didn't already know. I'm just kind of reiterating it because they have actually been trying to implement. They slowly try to kind of trickle your rights away from you. And there's a couple of really good videos a buddy of mine was showing me on YouTube. A couple different guys that I'd really like to see more of their content talking about stuff like that. Let's see. Missouri homeowners are getting paid to install USA-made solar. Yeah. Most rural counties in Missouri, the debit card for kids. When we stay in interactive maps, FBI, cast wide net. See, I'm not seeing a whole lot of anything interesting. Yeah. But that's locally, though. Let's check the other. What's everybody doing tonight, anyways? It's Saturday night. Really shouldn't be watching my news, but hell, I discovered I quit watching the news. I watch YouTube, and that's where I get most of my information. I like pulling up these articles sometimes, though. Top stories. I like this new computer I got. It's got this Microsoft Edge, if anybody's heard about that. It's kind of neat. Let's see. Police say Oakland father, baby killed in fire are victims of a homicide. God, 12 minutes ago. That's a horrible story. Let's take a look at it. I don't have a screen share for my YouTube live. That's unfortunate. Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Police say Oakland father, baby killed in fire are victims of homicide. So that does not sound good at all. Oakland police say, when was this? Jesus, that's terrible. 2:59 p.m. Wow. Oakland police say a 37-year-old man and his baby daughter who were killed in a residential fire early Saturday were the victims of homicide. The authorities say the fire, the deaths, and the related injuries of family members are linked to other recent crimes. Police spokeswoman Johanna A. Watson said in a statement Saturday afternoon that police believe a homicide on April 10 in East Oakland and a fire at a business in the same location on April 14th may link to Saturday's killing and fire. She also said that someone police investigators believe was involved in the April 10 shooting turned himself into Oakland police on Thursday and was placed under arrest. That case was forwarded to the Alameda District Attorney's Office for review and charging. On Saturday morning, police and firefighters were dispatched to a home in the 9500 block of Stearns Avenue following a report of an intentional structure fire. When authorities arrived, several people were still trapped inside. Firefighters extinguished the blaze and found the father and his 1-year-old daughter, Watson said. God, that's terrible. Family members who were injured in the blaze remain hospitalized. Oakland Fire Department arson investigators' preliminary investigation indicated the fire was intentionally set, she said, and they are continuing to investigate. Wow. Man, I feel bad for people's families go through stuff like that. Man, that's terrible. Let's see. 13 minutes ago. I love this fresh news. I mean, like, that's the best to get it out, like, before I see it on any other channel. Like, you're already watching it right now, which is pretty cool. Multitasking. 4 FedEx shooting victims. This was April 17th, 6 p.m. So this must be written out. This is from People magazine. 4 FedEx shooting victims were members of Sikh community, including mom of 2 who was a quote unquote hard worker. At least 4 members of the Sikh community in Indianapolis were among those killed in Thursday's shooting at a FedEx facility. Amarjit Sekhan, a mother of 2 who moved to the United States, pardon me for butchering your name, in 2005, was one of those victims. The 48-year-old, who was remembered as a hard worker, began working at the FedEx Plainfield ground facility in November, according to the Indianapolis Star. This sounds bad. She was a hard worker and always wanted to work and was always working overtime and asking for overtime shifts. Her brother-in-law, Kuldip Sekhan, told the Washington Post following her death, she liked to have a good house, have good cars. Well, I'd like to have a good house and a good car too, so can't really blame her. Kuldip added that another one of their relatives set up a GoFundMe page to cover funeral and medical expenses for affected families. Wow, that's crazy. But again, the issue with people getting shot is not the issue with the guns. The issue is with the psychos that are shooting the people. So let's not forget about that. Every time I look up these articles, they try to get me to subscribe. Let's see. Biden plans to lift the refugee cap. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Biden's he's pretty liberal on that border control. Died in prison. Let's see. Let's check the U.S. news here. The family of the FedEx shooter apologizes. Jesus. After outcry brought by. Okay, so yeah, that was a crazy deal down there. The border crisis with all them kids. Anybody knows what's going on with that? Drop it in the comments below. As far as I knew, it was pretty bad. Let's see, what else is there? It looks like 41 minutes ago, we got Minneapolis has been having a lot more trouble lately. I'm not sure I've actually seen any of the footage on that. It says Armed Patrol Group tries to keep the peace in Minneapolis as protests intensify. Looks like there's a Mr. Joe Biden. Let's see. As protests, oh gosh, let's see. It won't even let me read the article unless I sign up for a damn membership. Come on now, just trying to get the news. Let's get some technology news. That'll be good. SolarWinds hacking campaign puts Microsoft in the hot seat. Yeah, I'm not so sure how I feel about Microsoft. They're a pretty big company. I mean, they're obviously pretty cool, but what do you think about it? In the comments? That looks like it could be hacking campaign. I'm pretty sure they're always trying to hack us. So I heard something about Johnson & Johnson vaccines were being pulled off of the and Pfizer was saying something about people were going to need booster shots like the flu once a year. Anybody heard anything about that? Anybody been vaccinated and all that? How many shots you had to get? 1 hour ago. Now, I love stories like this. These are some of my favorite. NASA and SpaceX prepare for the launch of Crew 2 mission. Okay, we have to check this out. This is an article in UPI. NASA and SpaceX prepare for the launch of Crew 2 mission. I mean, that's just awesome. If you've ever seen a spaceship take off in person, drop it in the comments below because I want to know. I've never seen that. When I was a kid, I built rockets and I would launch them. Makes me want to do it again. I did see SpaceX launch from Vandenberg Air Force Base out in California, and that was really cool. A SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket with the company's Crew Dragon spacecraft on board is seen on the launch pad at Launch Complex 39A during a brief static fire test ahead of NASA's SpaceX Crew 2 mission on Saturday, April 17th, 2021, at NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. NASA's SpaceX Crew 2 mission is the second crew rotation mission of the SpaceX Crew Dragon spacecraft and Falcon 9 rocket to the International Space Station as part of the agency's Commercial Crew program. NASA astronauts Shane Kimbrough and Megan MacArthur, ESA European Space Agency astronaut Thomas Pesquet, and Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency JAXA astronaut Akihiko Hoshide are scheduled to launch at 6:11 a.m. Eastern on Thursday, April 22nd, from Launch Complex 39A at the Kennedy Space Center. NASA photo by Joe. I didn't see the picture, but pretty cool. So they're going to be launching tomorrow morning. You got to, or is that tomorrow morning? Or no, they said April 22nd, next Thursday. So be checking for that. That'll be pretty cool. Way cool, man. Sending chicks into orbit. I don't see the big deal about it being a female deal, but every time we explore, it's does something good for mankind. I mean, I guess. I mean, what would we do if we were to all go into space? We wouldn't even know what to do right now anyway. But I just love the missions to Mars. I love everything about space exploration and sci-fi. I think it's cool. I do want to know what's the update with the helicopter on Mars. So I don't know if anybody's heard anything about that. Drop it in the comments below, or I'm about to tell you. This was 2 hours ago. There was an update in an article from Ars Technica, who likes to play ads from Best Buy about Surface Laptop 4s, which I'm not interested in. What's funny is they will let me spend thousands of dollars up there. Like I've bought a house, my credit's good, but I don't even know what kind of credit you got to have to get a Best Buy credit card because I have been turned down like 3 times. I'm like, I don't know who, what kind of money you got to be throwing around, but like I'm saying, so if I'm looking at $1,000 computer, they have no problem selling me that, or $5,000 drone, they have no problem selling me that. And every time they ask me, hey, will you want to sign up for a card? And I'm like, yeah, but you won't give it to me. So, and every time they do that, it dings your credit. So NASA says its Mars helicopter is ready for a historic first flight. I think they run into like some complications the other day, and they had to shut down the flight because I still haven't seen any aerial shots of the planet's surface or anything like that. This is all experimental, so it's quite possible that Ingenuity will fail. I'm guessing that's the name of the helicopter, which is pretty cool. It doesn't really look like a helicopter. It really looks kind of like a drone, but it's still pretty cool. NASA has resolved the issue with its Ingenuity helicopter on the surface of Mars, and it's ready to fly. I'm really excited about this. I look forward to this, obviously, as a drone pilot. I just think it's fantastic. This millions of miles away, they're going to be flying a helicopter in the atmosphere. I mean, just technology at its finest. The space agency announced on Saturday that it will attempt to fly the small 1.8 kilogram helicopter early on Monday. The first flight is scheduled to take place at about 3:30 a.m. Eastern time, which is funny because it has absolutely no relevance on another planet in the solar system. But here, we'll know what time that is. It will take a few hours to relay data from the helicopter to the Perseverance rover and then to an orbiting satellite and back to Earth. So NASA anticipates receiving the first data back from Mars sometime after 6:15 a.m. Eastern time. Man, that's cool. So the helicopter is going to launch, it's going to fly, it's going to take aerial shots, and then it's going to land, I'm guessing, and then it's going to take a couple hours for the data to get from the helicopter, transmit it over to the rover, and then the rover will transmit it up to the satellite, and then the satellite will beam it back to Earth, which is just crazy nuts if you really think about it. The space agency will begin a live stream at that time, sharing any photos and reactions from scientists and engineers as humans attempt to fly a powered vehicle on another world for the first time. How cool is that? I mean, it don't get much cooler than that. Before too long, I'm going to have to go get dinner ready. I'm making broccoli and chicken pasta Alfredo with garlic toast and Parmesan cheese. So, got about 6 more minutes. Anybody's got any questions, concerns, comments, updates, feel free to drop them in the comments or in the live chat. Love to hear that stuff. NASA originally planned to fly Ingenuity about 1 week ago, but during a pre-flight test, engineers encountered a problem. When the engineers sent a command to the helicopter to test the rotation, its 2 counter-rotating blades, each of which is 1.2 meters long, an issue prevented the test from occurring. And so they had to go back in and see what the hell was going on. Since then, the mission team, led by project manager Mimi Wang at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, worked on a software fix that entailed adding a few commands to the flight sequence. Since this was a change to software that had been in a stable configuration for about 2 years, it required extensive testing and validation before being sent to the helicopter. That's pretty cool. But the software patch seems to have worked because on Friday, the helicopter completed a full speed spin test, setting up the opportunity for a historic flight. For this first flight, Ingenuity will rise a couple of meters above the ground, hover in the air for about 20 to 30 seconds, and then land. Notably, the first flight of the Wright brothers airplane lasted for 12 seconds. So, launch an aircraft in a totally new world. Yeah, the Wright brothers, but that just seems like ancient history to us now. But I mean, this is actually, really cool. Actually fly for our technology is just amazing. If this test flight is successful, NASA will get more bold in future forays, eventually flying the helicopter for up to 300 meters distance at a time. 300 meters is a really good distance. I'm curious at what altitude they'll be doing that at. Of course, this is all experimental, so it's quite possible that Ingenuity will fail, but NASA deserves credit for taking risks in order to push the frontier of exploration out that little bit further, and in attempting to fly on Mars. NASA will be gathering valuable data for an ambitious mission to Titan, Dragonfly, that will attempt to hop across the enigmatic moon sand dunes about a decade from now. So that's really cool. If you get a chance, look that up. First flight of Ingenuity Mars helicopter coming up soon. They'll be playing it live. Very cool stuff. So that's pretty much your stimulus check update and your top stories news for Saturday, April 17th, 2021. Don't forget, if you like videos like this, be sure and hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications. I'm John Lee. I'm on to the next one.